Mm. Oh, hi everyone. I'm so excited to be here live with you on this beautiful Monday. I hope wherever you are in the world that you had a restorative weekend. I am Andrea Donnelly, for those of you who are new to me, and I am here with my incredible client, Colleen Faltot. And we are going to just talk a little bit about how powerful an impact energy and breath work have on your ability to be able to shed the things that no longer serve you and really anchor into a totally next level version of you through energy and breath work, and the way that it always, from what I have seen now, being I'm going into my third year of business next year, but it always makes room for more money, more magic, and more miracles. The more you are able to clear that energetic baggage, the more you are able to anchor into just a version of yourself that really is aligned into your highest potential and potency. So Colleen, will you just tell everyone a little bit about what you do, introduce yourself?
Absolutely. My name is Colleen Faltot, and I'm an energetic weight loss coach. I have been in the nutrition coaching space for 7.5 years now. And then since finding Andrea, I've completely shifted how I coach. For a while, it was really coaching like macros and calories and very controlled. And in reality, that creates a big energetic block around everything else in your life when you're having such a controlled relationship with your food, right? We are all meant to intuitively eat. We're all meant to, eat what we need and have the weight released from our body. And so since my work with Andrea, I've shifted to become an energetic weight loss coach, where we focus on breath work, on your energy, on much more of your perception of your life around you rather than your food. Because when we get all that stuff in check, you aren't looking to food to numb, to cope, and you're eating intuitively what your body needs and releasing weight with ease.
That's amazing. And you guys know, for those of you who have followed my journey for some time, you know that one of the things about me is that I actually have lost over 50 pounds in the past couple of years as part of the journey of healing from chronic nerve pain and depression and anxiety and PTSD. And that was a big part of the shift for me personally with losing weight, was the energy work. It wasn't so much about anything that I did differently in terms of eating or anything like that. Certainly, the healthier I got, the more movement I was integrating into my life. But at the end of the day, it was the energetic work that really changed things for me. And I have seen it over the course of my own life, those ebbs and flows when I have been in a place of energetic grounding and just like really living in that sense of joy, my weight falls away. And when I am stressed out, when I have been in points of my life where things were not perhaps going as smoothly, I could see it. I could literally see that weight would like stick to my body as a form. I always thought of it as like energetic armor. Right. And I think that is like one of the really massive points of power in working with someone like you, is that people start to feel safer in their bodies, which automatically creates a really massive shift in your energy. And then you don't need that energetic armor or energetic protection anymore. And you're able to really start to anchor into a version of you that, again, just like you're able to shed the things that no longer serve you. You're able to work through those emotions, and then your body starts to meet you in this place of just like newness and really, I think of it as embodied wisdom. Right. That's like when people talk about what it means to be embodied, what embodied wisdom is, it's literally, in my opinion, having been on this metaphysical journey for as many years as I have. You guys have heard me perhaps say, like, I started meditating when I was 17. I'm going to be 44 in 2023. So it's been a long road of metaphysical study and observation for me. And I really do feel like it is one of the most powerful things that any of us can do to start to feel safer in our body. And it creates a massive ripple effect, not just in terms of weight, but it also ends up impacting your mental health. It ends up impacting any kind of like chronic illness that you have. Colleen, you're shaking your head because you see it with your clients.
How we show up in our physical body affects everything. It affects our confidence in our jobs, our confidence in our relationships, and like our energy. If we're carrying weight that we don't feel comfortable in, if we're in a body that we don't feel aligned in, we can say like, yeah, I'm good, I'm good, I'm good. But our energy speaks and we're not good, because this is this is our vessel. We have to feel good in our bodies. And it's really important to understand too, that like the diet and weight loss industry is like a $4 billion industry designed to keep you stuck, right? Like we live in a culture that manufactures insecurities, and it's really on each individual person. And it's a big mission of mine to express like the healing that needs to be done. Like when you're really trying to control your relationship with food, it's a byproduct of feeling out of control in another area of your life. It's not about the food, right? We're not eating too much because food's super yummy, sure, and it releases endorphins, but there's something underneath it. Like there's a root cause to it that has nothing to do with food, that needs to be healed in order for you to, sustain the weight loss that Andrew has sustained. I've sustained massive weight loss as well as my clients.
Yeah, and it's about shifting, right? And to your point, we live in a culture where we are told from every angle, we're not good enough. We're not, especially as women, we're not beautiful enough. We're not this, we're not that, but it like comes from all angles. And the weight loss industry, which you just said is a $4 billion a year industry, is meant to create a situation where you are always in a cycle. You are always in a loop. You are always looking outside of yourself to find an answer to a problem that ultimately lies within you. And by problem, I just mean that there is truly, just with weight loss, with recovering from any kind of chronic illness or disembodied experience, whether it's chronic illness, mental health issues, whatever the thing is that you're physically struggling with, the more you realize that the way to move through that is to get in touch with who you are, is to process, right? Literally digest all of your emotions, going back through not just this lifetime, but through past lifetimes. And I think that that's not always something that people realize, like the process of becoming embodied, of feeling safe, of looking inside of yourself to really start to look to the answers and then allow those things, whether it's the weight, whether it's the mental health things, to start to align in a new way, whatever it is that you're looking to shift from a physical or emotional perspective, getting to the root of those old issues, really looking to digest. Like I have clients who struggle with things like heartburn and stuff like that. And that's always what I see when I go into their field of energy, is it's literally things like heartburn, things like any kind of that stuff is all from these undigested emotions, right? And that ends up creating a situation where you're always, if you don't face those things, if you don't sit with them, if you don't do the work, whether it's through a daily practice of breath work, meditation, journaling, really sitting with yourself, really working with mentors and coaches and healers who can help you to face those things and clear them from your field, then you're always going to be caught in a hamster wheel. And the system, from a broader perspective, really benefits from that, right? Because they know that the root cause of these things is really for us to like face our feelings and get really deep and feel uncomfortable for for a certain amount of time, but basically to move through it. And that's where the like constant change comes from. That's where the ability to lose the weight and really keep it off over time comes from, is by you really facing those internal things that are admittedly uncomfortable.
Yeah. And our egos want to hold us back, right? Like our egos want to tell us that like we can't do the work. Like, who am I to heal? Like, who am I to live outside of this like trap, this like prison that I've created for myself with my thoughts, with my toxic thoughts, as a form of protection from when I was a child, from everything that I've been going through, right? Like we brick by brick build these walls around us. And part of the walls is our bodies, right? A lot of times, as you know, it's been shared, when we're holding on to extra weight, it's protection, it's to not be seen, it's because we're safe, right? And our egos, I deal with like every client when we start to work together, we just hit pause and I give them like a what's going to happen kind of thing so they can stay ahead of it. But like your ego is going to want to keep you down and wants to keep you small, wants to keep you stuck in the safety of needing that protection, of needing this armor around us because the world's not safe. And so doing a deeper dive and unpacking all of this is like, it's a process that you're going to have to really be coached through so that you can really make the strides, really make the progress, really have like a mirror up to you, looking at where you were, where you are, and like, those small hinges swing the big doors, and just keep on pushing and being coached through pushing, one decision at a time is how you get to this like big result you've been looking for, of healing your relation with food. I had an eating disorder for decades. And then I was super, super thin, and I still had a very toxic relationship with food. And again, like I said earlier, it was all about that control. I felt so out of control in other areas of my life that I was just like, I can control food. It has nothing to do with food, right? And when you realize that and really embrace that, game changer.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I don't talk about this that much because I have so many other things that I talk about in terms of the things that I've moved through and recovered. But I struggled with, especially as a younger person, I was a compulsive eater, and I used food as a way of essentially pushing down my emotions. And I was always sort of an interesting case study because even when it would happen, I knew that I was doing it as a way of trying to push down and not feel the emotions that were coming up for me. Yet, because because I too am human, and we are all, as humans, we've got our stuff. I would still use food to do things like soothe, right? But as I started to really work through my own history of childhood trauma, of having been in multiple different car accidents, of having really struggled with things like anxiety and depression, which were in many ways, they were a result of, a lot of trauma and inherited trauma, ancestral baggage, if you will, that I carried with me into this current incarnation that I was born to help transmute or heal. But it was also in so many ways just about about being a person who was always hyper psychically sensitive. I was always a really deep empath. I have been able to communicate with my guides since I was a baby. I've channeled light language since I have memories. And being that psychically sensitive, being that aware on this planet is in many ways a massive, massive gift. And I don't want to minimize that, but it's also really fucking overwhelming. And so I think like acknowledging the fact that when you are a person who is empathic, when you are a person who has a lot of spiritual gifts, you can end up using something like food as a way of self-soothing because there is so much happening on this planet, right? And certainly it's amped up in the past couple of years where we're witnessing, things collapsing from a societal perspective from all angles. But in many ways, it's always been like that. And if you are a person who is very sensitive, again, food, you're going to find ways to quote unquote cope. And food is a big way of self-soothing. And so to find someone like you find someone like me who can really help you figure out what the bigger picture is and help you work through that, it really changes things, and it makes it so that you're able to really change things in a permanent way and start to really embody again a much deeper feeling of safety. It's one of the things I see in my work all the time is I start doing work with people and they will say to me, I have one client who I remember after just doing a couple sessions with her, she was like, I've never felt safe in my body. And after doing this work with you, doing these clearings with you, really showing up, she has gone through, she's worked with me now for about a year and a half, and it's been amazing to watch her transformation, because the more she's been able to clear all of that old energetic, the wounds from not just this, but all lifetimes, she's really started to feel safer in her body. And the way she shows up for herself is really different. The way she shows up for her business is really different. She has anchored into a level of success that is amazing to watch. And the more you do this work, it's not just about shedding the weight and feeling safer. It's about finding a way to be really present in your human experience and start to move through the version of you that gets to really live your dreams. And again, it's like this, it's such an incredible thing to be able to witness it personally with my clients, with someone like you. We did a soul retrieval a couple of months ago, and you had this just immediate, really visceral reaction to it. And as soon as it was happening, and even in the days that followed, you were reaching out to me saying, I started to do this differently. I started to do this differently. I'm, showing up in this area of my life so differently. And since we did that work, things have really shifted for you, and it's been so fast. And I think that that's another thing about sort of the power that we all have right now, is that we have the ability, from a quantum perspective, all quantum healing means is that, something that could potentially have taken 20 years, that you decide that you're going to move through it, through mentorship, through coaching, through healing, that instead of having, something that might have in the past taken 20 years, that you're going to have it happen in 6 months or 1 week or 1 day or 1 year. And it's about the fact that we have these tools now from a human perspective to be able to move at this pace. We don't necessarily have the time at this point, right? When you look at the world around us, we all need to really get correct with ourselves in a really deep way so that we're able to take care of ourselves. We're able to be really strong and grounded, not just for ourselves, but for our families and for our communities. Because as we keep moving through these really big earth changes that we're witnessing, that were prophesized for, thousands of years, if you go back and you look at any ancient religions, you look at the things that were said about the time that we're in, it's true. We are moving through a window of rapid global transformation, and it's literally all about us realizing that we are the ones who get to create our journey, that there is nothing outside of ourselves. And again, the power of signing up to do something like working with you, signing up to work with someone like me is just there. It's incomparable. There's nothing like investing in yourself right now. And my guides have said it for years, that the power of my life personally is that I was literally born to remind people of how quickly we can change if we show up for ourselves. And they have said something to me, which I just love this. They have said for years that I always understood this, no matter how rocky my life got, but that we are our rainy day fund. You are your rainy day fund. There is truly no better investment that any of us can make right now, from my perspective, than investing in our own physical body, our own emotional experience, our own spiritual awakening. There's truly nothing, there's truly no money more well spent than really showing up for yourself.
And it's like, it's really important to hear this and hear it without like your family ideas, like your parents' pressure to just like go make money. It's like, wait, no, hit the pause button and take care of your energy first. And you're going to release the energetic blocks that are holding you back from everything else. You can't be in this like toxic relationship with something in your life, be it food, someone else, your job, etc., and then move forward and have everything else be going amazing. It all bleeds into each other, you know, and that's the thing that for me, I really had to step back and understand. And Andrea helped me see that on such a level that I've read it in books, I've heard from other people, but the way Andrea broke it down for me of like, listen, your goal is here. We have to go here first. And I'm like, but I want to go there. They helped me break down. And the funny thing is that a lot of stuff that Andrea wanted to focus on when we first started working together, I was like, oh, I'm done that. Like no, we can move on. And Andrea is just such an embodied, graceful woman that she led me there, and I was like, okay, let's do it. And the shifts that have happened in my life, like you can't put words to it. You can literally over a Zoom call with Andrea feel this like magical feeling that I've never felt in my entire life. I also do your sound healing. I'm sorry, what is it called? The 20-minute things?
Oh, yeah, my activations. Yes, yeah.
So I also do the activations with her twice a month where, you know, it's just a scheduled time and I'm laying down, listening to like esophageal healing beats, and like the power that I can feel from her, you know, not even in the same room with me, not even on the phone with her is magical. Those are the only way to describe it.
Those remote healings, which are remote healings, they're remote energy healings, and then activations, because I help to clear your field from a distance. They are so powerful. And it's been really interesting because since I was a kid, I've channeled this really powerful energy. And that is one of the big reasons why my work is so powerful. And it's so interesting because it's written into my chart in every, like, whether someone is an astrologer, human design, you know, a psychic, what have you, when people open my chart and they see what it is that I was basically born to embody and do, people say, I had a reading at the beginning of this year, and the woman who did my reading was like, you could literally be asleep, and the power of the energy that you channel, because I channel so many different, my guides call it like all the good vibes, the angelic realm, the galactic realms, the ancestral realms, the fairy realm, the earth realm, the elements. I channel so many powerful, the ascended and exalted masters, the Akashic records, all of these really potent. I'm a really, really clear channel. And it makes it so that just being in my presence really has this massive impact for people, because that's what I was born to do. And it's so interesting from you know, from a scientific perspective, because there is at this point, right, I know that there, you know, people who sort of snub their nose at all of this like woo-woo stuff, but it's fascinating because I've been studying it for so long, because it is my life's work in so many ways. I remember reading a study maybe like 15 years ago that talked about how when you meditate, I believe it was Harvard studied it, and it changes your brain. There have been studies done on whether prayer works, and it does. They don't know why. They don't understand it from like a scientific perspective, but all of this hocus pocus, if you will, it really does work, and it has a massive impact on us. And I love working with people. You know, you're one of my private clients, and so you end up getting a lot from me in terms of the space that I hold for you. But there are so many cool ways to work with me. And one of them, which is only available through today, you guys, I put together this hyper potent package. I was guided to basically put together a group of sessions. It comes with a celestial soul retrieval. It comes with a wealth activation, which is hyper powerful. It comes with 2 remote healings, which is what Colleen was talking about. It comes with 2 of them, comes with some Voxer support, and it comes with a couple of recorded meditations that I have. And it's only available through end of day today. So if you want to jump into one of the remaining spots on that, it's an incredibly good deal. It's only 1897, which is less than just the two calls with me would cost on their own. So it is hyper potent. I cannot recommend it enough. There is an extended payment plan if you're interested in it. So I would say run, don't walk to that one. One of the last people that I did a wealth activation with, it was so wild. We did a wealth activation, I think it was on a Friday afternoon. And that next week she hit her highest week in business that she had ever had before. She works in PR and marketing. She hit $25,000 in sales that week after we did this wealth activation. So there's a point where, we all have to just start saying whether we perceive this to be real or not. The proof is in the pudding. It really does work. So wherever you are, whatever you do for work, whether you have your own business, whether you're just looking to shift your interpersonal experience, I really cannot recommend jumping into this anymore. Colleen, will you tell us about what you have to offer people? Because this is so good, you guys. It starts today also, and she graciously extended it for all of you because the sale technically ended yesterday.
Yes, so I have a Breathe the Weight Off program, which is a really powerful 1-month container. We go over your stress, like your 4 forms of stress: metabolic stress, perceived stress, inflammatory stress, and circadian stress. Because when you get your stress under control, you're allowed to lose weight with ease, right? Like your weight issues don't have anything to do with food. And it's a breath work included in it. There's journaling and just ways for you to lose the mental weight so that you can lose the physical weight. Like my clients will literally tell you that they breathe the weight off. It's a lot of tools in there to build the emotional resiliency to handle the stress in your life better, so that again, the mental weight is lost and the physical weight just falls off with ease. That is $555 for 1 month of coaching. And I'm doing my first and maybe last, I'm not sure, ever group container. Starts today, 1 month long, get you through the holidays, get you, starting with the new year already off on the right foot for $97.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's fucking incredible. And you guys, one of the things about Colleen is like, whenever I tap, one of my gifts is that I can see your greatest gifts. I can see your original soul blueprint, what you were born to do. And I always, every time I tap into Colleen's energy, I just see this like remarkably potent. You're like a drill sergeant, but you're a drill sergeant that like, I would listen to anything that you told me to do, because you have this really deep sense of embodied wisdom. You understand so much about the connection between the 3D, which is like the physical, the earthly things, and then that potent spiritual medicine. And there is just, you have this incredible level of wisdom and this ability to really help people move very, very quickly. So I mean, for $97, that's like nothing. If you divide that up over the course, that's less than $4 a day to really make some remarkable shifts. And especially since we're moving into we just moved through Thanksgiving. We're going to be moving through Christmas and New Year's. To be able to get that kind of support is really, really important. And, certainly we all have the ability to shift at any time, but what better point to do it than as we enter a new year? Because the thing about being a human is that things are not slowing down on planet Earth. They are just, they're going to keep on coming, the hits, the external chaos, all of that. And so really the most powerful thing that any of us can do is to find a way to really sit with as much grace and ease as we possibly can, no matter what is happening around us. And as Gandhi said, be the change that we wish to see in the world. And so that change starts, right? It starts with you. It starts with me. It starts with us really investing in ourselves in a really potent, powerful way. So we will make sure that everyone has the links to be able to sign up for both of our offers. Colleen, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom with everyone. I just love you. I love the work that you do. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, you guys. Thank you for sharing your time with us. And yes, I will also, just one last little plug. I'm going to be doing my monthly energy forecast for December on Friday afternoon. So at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I believe. But I'll make sure that that is also here in the notes. So join me for that live. Those are always really fun. And yes, we will talk to you soon. Bye.